So pretty simple, right? Just learn to like follow your man's movements on his hands. So if Ethan were to grab my hands, right? He grabs my hand. Don't try to force anything. Everybody wants to pull this arm and grab it. Just keep pushing them down and go in circular movements. So if Ethan grabs my hand, all he's doing is this. As he's pushing them down for me to get away, that's when you hit the arm drag, okay? Everything else is going to remain the same. Can I have you up for a second? Your hands were up. You got to have connection down there. If you're not going to have connection down there, back your feet up so that you can recover them. You don't want anybody controlling your ankles. Push his hands down. First reaction is grab onto his elbow. Second reaction is, I said, there's a bunch of them, but this one, all we're going to do is hold on to that elbow. So the moment we pull, we make a Y wedge and we aggressively hold on to the elbow. We're almost holding on to the elbow, almost similar to how Terry was on last Monday, where he did that single arm takedown, I'm sorry, the arm drag, where he held on to the elbow with everything he had. So same exact principle. I push this down, I go false gripping, Y wedge. I'm holding on to this position as much as I can. My secondary move is I reach for his lat, and now I start sliding myself underneath. Pretty simple. All we're gonna do is elevate him, and then we'll go off for this first reversal. So I just bring him on top of me. He's right here. I can easily bring him over. As soon as we land, I stay behind the deltoid. We said in the last class, we were gonna take this hand that's on this side of the bicep, lace it through and grab the rear of the neck and bring him back the other way. So as we landed here, we're in a great spot. Only thing I wanna do is keep scoring. So I'm gonna reach behind his neck, slide my knee high, and bring him back to the other side. Pretty simple move. Okay, let's do it again. One more time. Right? I grab onto his hands, push his hands down, I shoot long, right? I'm grabbing on, I'm learning how to follow his hands, follow his hands, follow his hands. Bless you. At no point do you follow his hands and take your hands out of the center line. You don't want to do that, because if you start following, then he penetrates with his head, and now he's one head battle position, right? So never take them out of the center. Even if he keeps pulling them back, you keep turning him inside. You keep turning him inside. So as soon as you get them inside, and they've been down, and now they're down, that elbow isn't going to be activated by that lat muscle. First reaction is I shoot this long. Second reaction is I couldn't get this leg out fast enough, so I just hold the elbow. Y wedging, false grip. I bury the elbow as tight as I can so he doesn't move. I want to be connected to him. My next move is I'm not reaching for that back side. It's too far away. I'm reaching just for his lat muscle. I'm not trying to throw him over yet. I'm trying to get him on top of me so he becomes light. So I'm trying to slide supine underneath him. As I pull him up, this is where we are. He becomes easy to elevate and rotate upon landing. I get behind this lat. Okay, so when I landed, I was in a false grip this way. My first reaction is I keep the position behind his deltoid so he doesn't pull back. Not the end of the world if he pulls back. If he pulls back, we'll go through it. I got a butterfly here and get head and arm control because I want to mount. But we landed like this. So I'm only giving him the choice to go this way. I take my far side hand and I loop it through. Now if he pulled back, I have a head and arm choke. Okay? But we're going to say no, he didn't. He's fighting for position or he's trying to stay neutral. He's not giving me his hands so that I can't grab onto a gift wrap. That's what I've loved to have done. But he's playing intelligent. He's playing fundamentally correct, that he's not keeping those hands anywhere near me. So now I slide my kneecap up as high as I can to the other side, and now I'm here bringing him back over. As soon as I land over, secondary hook slides inside. Now I take full control of it. Let's part up, please. 1, 2. So if you have the angle, you can drive that shoulder back. You went here, did everything right. I reach over, I throw him over, right? I'm landing. I went like this. Now I reach through. I'm perfectly set to start driving him this way. So if I can get my hands together, I start driving the shoulder down, and now I'm on the same thing of a head and arm choke. The only thing I'm gonna land him, once I have that shoulder, I'm gonna do the best I can not to raise my hips. So I'm gonna semi-moon one leg, get super tight on one side, butterfly to the other, recover the bottom leg and start driving up into that artery. Right, so everything's exactly the same. I don't have to go back to take his back. If I have an angle that I can drive my shoulder line down and he's not protecting my foot, why not bring him back down again, right? I can always follow him the other way. So I've done everything exactly the same. Wide wedge, I reached over, I threw him over. As I landed, I've gotten a position under here. He didn't hold on to my leg, so now I can collect my hands and start driving high. Once I've gotten to this position, take your time adjusting. I have the head, my feet are free, I've gotten control of this artery. I'm in a great spot. Don't rush it. Don't start coming here and then just trying to dismount on him. Start adjusting yourself and get your arteries just right. I'm short right now on that side artery. I would start fixing it. Now I have that artery on that side. Even if I didn't dismount, I could choke Ethan out just from the movement now, because I recollected everything down here. He's supine. He's not ready to buck. I have both my feet wide. He's nowhere near grabbing me. My whole focus is up here on how the blood's sitting between here. I want, if I can, to have command of this artery on this side. And what I mean by that is that I feel the artery touching some portion of my skin, right? So if I have command of this artery, this adjustment's easy. I have my hands, my hips, like my leg, but that artery, if there's a gap on that artery, very hard to fix that artery later, right? So make your adjustments now when you have them supine. When you have your ear on that side, try to pay attention to where your ear is sitting. Don't sit your ear up here. I'm not trying to squeeze his bicep into his cheek. I'm trying to bring this portion of his body, just this little sector, up into this artery. So you'll see my head position. If it's up here, it's too high. I can see his shoulder. My head position is down here, so that when I butterfly off of him, I'm here like this. I've gotten to this point. My hands are connected, right? And now I'm starting to recover this back leg so that I can use it as a driving force. Look where my ear is. It's sitting down here. I'm trying the best I can to bring the shoulder high. I will tell you something that is kind of critical. When you get to the point of driving this up, try to almost think that you're touching your ear to your shoulder. It doesn't take a lot of compression, but what will happen is people get the hold this 90-degree angle turn, start driving up. I'm doing everything I can to start closing this gap between these two, because all I really want to do is compress this pocket as close as I can. So when you're starting to drive up, you should be, if I haven't done anything and I have that artery on the far side, I have that artery on the far side right now. If I did nothing else and just get my feet here and start driving my shoulder to my head, Anthony will tell you, it's crazy tight so quick. I haven't done anything with the lower half yet. And the lower half is really what's going to kill him on it. So do your best you can. Shoulder and ear get compressed up here. You're almost trying to put your your shoulder into your ear. Everything else remains the same. The only thing that you're paying attention to is he didn't bite onto my foot. So if he didn't bite onto my foot on the reversal when I first landed, I can release this foot to that side because my shoulder line's here. So if he's like this at this point and he hasn't taken command of my foot down there, because if he holds my foot, it becomes very difficult to push him back. Let me have my foot back. So my foot's on the outside, that I can use it as a tool to drive this way, right? But if he owns my foot, then I got to come this way, because what I'm worried about, and if we think about 2 steps later, I don't remember, I've said this a couple of times, I don't want to lose this knee line, right? So if I think about, come back over this way, right? If I think about it mechanically, just in case I'm losing the knee line, go down, take it that way. We were this way. Turn it this way like that, right? Just in case I'm like this, right? We've landed to this point. He hasn't collected my foot, and I dropped my foot wide, and now I start driving him back this way with my shoulder to go the head and arm. But if he owned my foot, right? And now he's using this hand to push that knee. So I want to bring that knee line high also above his hip, because I don't want to lose this knee, right? So understand, on this particular move, he did not have my foot. I don't want to get my leg pushed back in between these legs, and now he turns and he's half guard on me. And I went, damn, that went south on me. So I would have to counter. So on this particular move, when you bring him over, he does not have your foot. I said this the other day. It's like that knee line means everything. It means everything. That's how he recovers. That's how he starts becoming offensive. That's how it all goes south for me. So this particular move, when we bring him over, he doesn't own the foot. Foot should be out on the far side. Shoulder line was here anyway. I'm just driving it back this way. I'm doing everything exactly the same for the head and arm dismount. Don't raise your hips, okay? If you haven't been here before, don't do this. Don't come here. And now take your leg, and you're like this mounted, and I lift my hips up to turn because he will turn also. I stay flat, and he should be supporting my body weight the whole time. I semi moon, I bite onto those hips. I made one rotation on the far side, slide my leg out, I recovered it, I start driving up into this artery. Let's part up and please do it. Thank you. Right. Let's just talk about it. Everybody's doing it pretty well. They're just a bunch of new faces that have never seen it before. And I just want to fix something. You're like this. Everything's great. Coming over. Perfect. Perfect. Go head and arm choke. Head and arm choke. Foot's released. Bring them back. Perfect. Stay right there. Start doing it. Excellent. Stay right there. Let's stay right there. Lay the hip. Lay on this hip. Lay on that hip. Okay. So if you lay like that, right? So your hips are facing the opposite way. What mechanically happens down here? Nothing. There's no power generation. You basically are trying to squeeze them as hard as you can up here and crossing your fingers that you're owning the blood supply on that side and that your head's not too far up. That's basically. And if for some reason he turned really quickly that way and grabbed between his legs and pulled down, maybe you lose him, maybe you don't, maybe he fights the turtle, maybe you can keep up, go back down, right? But that's not what we want to do down there. Just flip your feet, how you did before, right? He came like this, he slid that leg out, excellent, right? So now, right, stay loose on him. Right now, when he pushes this way with this leg and kept this triangle here, perfect, this gets closer up here, right? Mechanics work like that, right? So when you go, what are you doing down there, right? The more I can push this away, but sometimes I can't. Sometimes this leg may be up here. Put it up there, right? Maybe like this sometimes, you know, sometimes depending on their size and their strength and what they're trying to do, sometimes they're not trying to go this way, they're trying to come this way. So I might have to put this leg here because his escape that he's trying to do is trying to turn this way, and I need that wedge up there. But Ethan had it really nice before. Do it like he did. Perfect. See that triangle, right? My body went like this. This just got tighter, right? Now he's going to bring this leg up. Bring that leg up. Yeah. And now he's going to use this leg. This guy just pushed this guy away to make this guy tighter. This guy's going to do the work of pushing whatever was not working over here. If that's short, this right here is the most powerful thing he has in his kinetic chain, right? So why would you lay on that hip and not use it, right? So when you're here in this position, everything's right. I got to use this leg because I don't know, right? You wrote with some people so small and I got to really squeeze. Or maybe I'm not perfect. You know, I'm not, whatever, arteries aren't perfect, a little bit high on the head. I need this. I need this whole chain right there because that chain's driving up. So when you do it this time, there were a couple of people facing the other way, laying flat, like lay flat. Lay next to each other, right? You guys are laying next to each other. There's nothing. And now flip the hip the other way. The other way. Nothing down here. When everything should be down here. He should be able to do that with one hand up there if he's gotten everything right. If this is right, right? So when you dismount this time, just pay attention to it. Same thing, right? Try to do both reversals. One is we take the back. Let me just change it a second. No? Thanks, Dan. Thank you. I'm going to ask you to do two, okay? So you did the first one, and then you do the second one. So the second one was the choke. The first one was the back take. Only thing I'm going to ask you is to isolate the arm on the back take. So when you brought him over, you did everything like pushed here, grabbed, held on to here, reached over, threw him over, came over the top, dropped your head, came up this way, right? And now I'm owning this, and I'm going, damn, he's biting onto my foot, and I've realized, I'm like, there's no way I can push him back now, right? If I push him back like this, he's going to slide my kneecap through, and now he's got my leg down there, and I'm going, damn, probably going to scorpion me, and now I got to fight to get out of this. And it's like, oh, that stunk. So I'm like this at this point. When I come over this way and I start pulling him back this way, I'm going to ask you to use this leg right away on his shoulder. So when I'm landing, I'm already throwing this leg inside here to peel this guy back. All I wanted was his elbow above him, okay? I would have loved to have choked him, but he's sitting so low right now that my legs are like this. Hold on to my foot, okay? He's holding on to my foot. So I'm gonna accept that you wanna hold on to my foot. I'll exchange with you for this elbow. So when you first were like this, all I said, okay, you wanna keep that? What?
Just careful my shoulder.
Okay, I'll do it lightly, right? I was like this, so the only thing I did was start reaching and cupping both hands. So I'm just from the palm to palm, and I'm starting to reach up over his head. I won't do this too hard. I want my foot back, so I don't really care about that arm. This foot's gonna come in the center, and I'm gonna start pulling Ethan down this way and extending my legs so that this becomes incredibly tight. Also, if I was doing this live, the shoulder lock is so painful as you're ripping it over his head this way that they wanna release that leg. They just want, it just is incredibly painful if I'm pulling this up over his head because it doesn't come to this point, right? And what am I really pulling? It's overextended already. It's weak muscles in the shoulder. And I've got both hands with my lower back and my glutes ripping this thing over his head. As soon as I brought my leg out, now I can figure for it, and now I finish my triangle. Either if I can finish the arteries or I start taking this arm to break it over his back. So you had two that you're doing. One is you're going head and arm choke, right? But head and arm choke's dependent on if he had my bottom foot. I should be able to feel if I can take my foot out. If I can't get my foot out, it's not possible for me to drive him back. If I drive him back, he's going to push my knee line down between the center, and I'm back in half guard when I was in such a great spot. I don't want to do that, right? So if in the second one, when I feel him biting my foot, I'm coming high around the turn. As I pull him back, have the vision to throw your leg over and isolate that arm. It's sitting so low, you're in a perfect spot. Most likely you're going to be sitting so high up that if you're not really, really flexible, you're not going to be able to get back underneath the neckline with your arm. Okay, so you're going to be sitting so high up. Reach for his elbow. His elbow, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw Frankie Rosenthal. I think that's the one. He's tapped like 2 times already. Tapped to Johnny Grippo on that move. And then I think he tapped to, and Frankie's a very good player. He got caught on a rear naked choke, and the same thing. Arm went over his head, couldn't take the pain. It's very painful. So right away, reach for that elbow, start sucking it up. And now he's got my bottom foot. He's going to let go of my bottom foot, or I'm going to make this thing so painful on him, he's going to let go of my bottom foot. Okay, so you're looking to take that elbow and put it on the other side of his ear where it doesn't go. Once he lets go on the foot, I figure 4 my legs. Let's partner up and do it. One is when you bring him over, you have a transfer of this one hand. And this just goes with mechanics. Right? You brought him over like this. You brought him over, you go like this. And now you bring him over. When I was bringing him over, my head was right here. This is like where I was, right? My head was right here, right? When I bring him over, now he comes like this. And I see some people going, they're like this, and they're taking it. No, you already lost him. Like, what prevented him? I want him to go that way, right? The likelihood is a good player is going to hold on to my foot. He's not going to let go of my foot. Like, he should never let go of my foot. You know who lets go of your foot? The guy that doesn't really know a lot. Like, he's going to let you let this foot go, and now I can go left, right. I can flip all other places. I can swing this over the. I don't have to go here. I can just go up. And now I'm here in side control, driving it back, and everything went south because you let go of my foot, right? So high-level player's not going to let go of your foot. He's going to fight like a dog. He's going to, man, get out of here. Like, and he's going to give up like that? No way, man. We fight. So now you're going around the turn, right? And I want him coming this way because even in a real fight, I want to keep punching you to the back of the head. I mean, really, like, what is this? It's really a defensive art. And then it becomes a sport, and then you love it so much that you don't even think about fighting anymore, right? But if this was real, I want to be in here like this. Just keep clubbing this guy to the face, to the back of the head. I'm not going to stop, man. If my life's on the line, my wife's, my daughter's, like, I don't care. We're going to fight until it goes down. And if it goes down any other way, I'm sorry, but I want to win. And so when I came around that turn, I want you coming this way because even if this wasn't me being aggressive with punching you, I still want to put you to sleep. Like, I want you to put you to sleep. And I don't want you turning, and now I'm like this, and I was on here, I was here in the top. I go like this, and you rip back, and now I'm like this going, oh darn, you have this foot, right? You have this foot, your hands are here, you're wedged on this side, you're wedged on that side, and you have the foot. How's that going to work out for me? How's that? Most likely he's going to kick me, he's going to knee elbow escape. He's got 3 points that, and I have nothing. I'm just sitting on top of you with one, and I don't even have position underneath your elbow. So the reason I bring this all up is that people say, man, I never get it. Okay, so when you first came over, let's go back one step. When you first came over, no, go back over there. The games lie in the small details, and that's what differentiates. Like, I didn't get to see Gordon's match yet last night, but obviously he armbarred the guy, and he dominated another person. Like, you know, it's true. And it's like people go, man, how's he do it? How's he do it? I think it's the drug. You don't think those other guys are on drugs? Come on, man. Those guys are pharmacies. They're walking around steroid bottles, all of them. Like, it is what it is. They train 6 times a day. You know, it's like, you know what it is to be in your body. Hey, I'm not here to fault them. It isn't that. It's like all the little details matter. I'm like this, I went like this, I went like this. And now I'm behind his tricep, and I bring him over, and I go, whoa, and I got this kickstand out. Because I don't want you pushing back, and I'm trying to push with this leg. Because I got to take this hand and slide it through. And now once I get bite of this neck, now I'm good to go. But I'm only giving you the option to go that way. And now you didn't want to let go of this foot. And I realized, okay, you don't want to let go of this foot. Now maybe I can grab onto this hand. But maybe I don't. Maybe I just own this whole back of the neckline, then I'm pulling this back this way to trap this hand on this side. And now we're underneath the neck, ready to choke him. That's like, you go, oh man, that guy's got some nice sequences like that guy. So, but it's not by accident. So sometimes it gets lost in the movement. So you go, oh man, it was like chaos. And they went, He wedged himself. He understood the mechanics. So when you bring the guy over, on Wednesday, we'll capture more moves from there. When you bring that guy over, think about the mechanics. That's why that leg's like that. It's not close together, right? I'm trying to make him go only one way. I'm trying to gift wrap him. I'm trying to beat this hand over the turn. We'll also go, I don't want to go through the second thing that was an issue today because I want to get everybody rolling. But on Wednesday, we'll capture left, right, kept right. Same thing. We'll hit some triangles. We'll do some other stuff also with that arm drag. 2 minutes before we go live, you want to grab water, caffeine, anything. Let's do it.